Hi there, welcome to Floating in Dreams. Today's video is going to be about my top 10 favorite winter eyeshadow palettes. Welcome to everybody watching today. Thank you so very much for joining me. This video is going to be about my top 10 favorite winter palettes, which is not the first time I'm doing this. I think I've done it twice before, so I'm going to be leaving any videos I've done with my favorite winter palettes down below. Just because I'm not mentioning some of the palettes from the previous videos doesn't mean I no longer like those. I just want to see if I can have something different to offer every single year. And this year, the winter palettes are going strong. So let me just get to it because I love me some winter palettes. Before we get into the video though, it may be good to know who I am and what I like doing on this channel. My name is Maaike, I live in the Netherlands, I have fair skin with a cool to neutral undertone, and that just greatly influences how I like to go about my channel, what I like, what I don't like. I love to review eyeshadow palettes as a secretaries and getting the use out of my makeup, so if that's something you're interested in, then I definitely hope you would like to consider subscribing. Now, I like to do these videos by sometimes including some, like, honorable mentions, you could say, and I just filmed another video. If you recognize the outfit, that's why. And I was talking about that palette in this video, and I was like, oh, I have to mention it again. The Too Faced White Chocolate, the minute the temperature hits freezing point, this palette is instantly, like, taking up space in my brain. It just always does. It's, of course, very much discontinued. You can no longer find this. And this is a palette that everybody hated on because it is so incredibly light. But look at this. Look at this. It's snow time in a palette. It's got lots of different cool tones. It's super light. When I hit like the post-Christmas season, when it gets to that time of year, I tend to get super duper pale, and I tend to go my palest towards the end of winter because my skin just hasn't seen that much sunlight. And then those shades just work on me like perfectly. Like January, February time is when I get the most use out of a palette like that. And you'll find with the rest of this top 10 that that's going to be there as well. So yeah, that's an honorable mention. I think this is the third time I'm showing you that palette in the video like this, but I definitely have a lot of new in things as well because a couple of these I haven't even tried yet, but I knew just from swatching them, just looking at the color stories, that I'm gonna love these. And I'm filming this video as some of my Black Friday orders are still coming in. So I know that if I were to wait a month with filming this video, because then we're still in the midst of winter, that, you know, I would still be able to include more of some of the new releases that we've seen from brands, because currently the winter vibes are incredibly strong in the makeup world, especially also with what I like, because I love me a cool tone, and so many brands are doing like cool tone neutrals with a pop of blue, purple, whatever, and I'm game. I'm here for it. So let me kick things off with something that's new to me that I'm going to be trying for you this month in December. So if you've seen my most recent Shop My Stash that I posted earlier in the week, you'll know that this Dior Backstage eyeshadow palette in Silver Essentials, which was limited edition this year. I think it's part of their holiday collection for the Backstage line. And I picked it up when I was in Italy, and it's these gray tones with some plummy pinks, you could say. It's got plums, but it also has some pinky things in there. And Lorraine, who is a regular viewer of mine, kind of influenced me to buy this. She was like, I don't think you might like it because it's quite satin heavy and I'm not entirely sure it would be up your alley. But then I found it at Sephora, I found a tester, I swatched it, and I was like, oh, I want that. And here's the thing, I had been wanting to try one of the Backstage eyeshadow palettes for the longest times, but the ones in the regular line have a cream-like eyeshadow base that is super yellow. And that just kind of threw me off. So now that they were doing this, I was like, okay, that's going to be like a double whammy for me. I can try the Backstage eyeshadow formula in a color story I like, that I think is perfect for the winter time. And I get to try something Lorraine also loves. So this is going to be on the to try pile. I hope to be able to post my eyeshadow palette review before Christmas so that I have the week from Christmas going into like the new year to post my end of year favorites. And I want to make sure I try as many palettes as I can before sitting down to film those videos so that anything I've tried in December can still make an appearance in those end of year favorites. So I'm trying to prioritize getting through as many of my new in things that I wanted to review this month for sure. And this is one of those things. And it doesn't get more perfect than this for winter. I think this is so classy, yet not like it's not too sparkly. It just has everything you want for a winter palette, I think. This is also quite new to me, but this is something I did already try, and it's the LH Cosmetics Daybreak palette. And this is one I was like, yes, this is so wintry. It's actually quite similar to what the Dior one has on offer, but this is a little bit more intense. I think the Dior palette is a little softer than this, and this is one of those palettes where I wasn't sure how I was gonna feel about it because this doesn't swatch the best. When you stick your fingers in, you know how some shadows you just swatch them and you instantly know it's gonna be great? I didn't have that experience with this. This felt chalky. I really had to build up the mattes with a finger. I was like, oh, how is that gonna go? But this truly shines when you use it with brushes, I found. I tried this, I think, in July or in August, and I really enjoyed it. It's really pretty. You definitely get something that's a little bit more like purpley pink over here, something a bit more neutral with that pop of blue. The blue is perhaps, this mint color is perhaps the weakest thing in the entire palette, but I really did enjoy it. It works quite well together with the gray. This has a flip, so it has a blue sort of vibe as well, tying in that shade just perfectly. So you have a neutral look in here, you've got a purpley pink look in here. For a 9 pan, it just works really well. And the way this showed up on my lids, it just works super duper well as well. And you just have all the shades that I associate with winter. It just does. I already mentioned that I really enjoy the Too Faced palette because it just goes with my super pale skin that I end up having in the winter time. And that's why I wanted to select the next palette as well, the Glam Shop Simna Mocha, which is sadly discontinued. They didn't bring it back. I was so bummed when I found out about it. But in terms of like a super light color story that just does everything I needed to do, this one pretty much takes a cake. I would have loved one more shimmer in this perhaps, but in terms of what it has to offer, I mean, it's perfectly neutral, it's perfectly cool toned, it's got some really stunning shimmers. The middle one, do you see that blue flip? This is like ice and snow and muck all turned into one because you can pull it a little bit more grungy, heavy. You could definitely pull it into that direction, but you can also do something super neutral and everyday with it. I think this is a stunning palette for the winter season, and I'm very glad I was able to pick it up. Now, this next palette is actually going to be part of the eyeshadow palettes I would like to go back to for December, but I will not be able to post that video until the start of January, and it's the Mary Jane from Melt. So this is a really stunning cool tone color story. This is for the festive season because of course we still have New Year's and Christmas coming up, and that's also part of winter. And I just like it if we can have something that's a little bit more glam. You have some stunning toppers in this, and the reason why I wanted to put it in my December palettes I want to go back to is because someone mentioned in the comment how she likes to use this palette with multi-chromes. And I'm like, I've never tried that. I always use my Anastasia Subculture with multi-chromes. But I can see why. I can see the vision. So I thought to sort of amplify this and take it up to the next level. Again, I think this is discontinued. I can no longer find it on the Melt website. But this has some really stunning things. And because of those really intense shimmers, yes, they're flaky. Melt does do a flaky shimmer. But because of that, they just bring so much glam to your eyeshadow. So if something like the Simna Mocha is a little bit too light for you, and you want something deeper and more glam, then something like the Melt Mary Jane can definitely deliver. But now, let's say you like those flaky, foily shimmers that Melt does, but you don't want to pay the Melt price point, or you can no longer find that one. Did you know that MUA does a formula like it? At just like, what, £3-4 at the UK drugstore. And I have now found that you can order these online quite easily because Notino stocks the brand for pretty much all of Europe, so I'm super happy. And also on Notino, this is super affordable. I'm holding up the one in Andromeda Skies because I think that is the one that I think goes best with like the wintry festive season that we're having. This can very nicely be built up to like that smoky glam vibe that the Mary Jane is gonna give you as well. Some really stunning shades in here. I had some issues with this though, that the shimmers kind of disappeared from my lid, so I still have to try this with a glitter glue to make sure that they actually stay put. So that may be something you have to bear in mind, but at this price point, like, I'm willing to put into work because it's just that good. You know, it's just that good. So that's why I didn't want to put it in here. And again, very nice cool tone color story. They also do a 15 pen in this like white plastic packaging. I think it's called the Illusionist. And some of you have told me that I should try that too. So now that I know I can buy this through Notino, maybe in the next couple of months, I might buy that Illusionist palette as well. Or if I'm probably going to be traveling to the UK again. It comes springtime, I hope. So I hope to be able to get myself to London in like April or May. We'll see how it goes. So I might pick it up then. But yeah, definitely on the wish list now that I've tried these. And of course, I have to tell you about my most recent sort of drugstore find, which is the Essence Cool Nude. They seem to be discontinuing. It's still listed on the Essence Europe website as saying something they do. It's part of their line. But everywhere I look, this seems to have disappeared. So it's one of those things where they've kept it in stock and it's like, as long as stocks last, again, still available on Notino for those of you who want to hunt it down. But this was perfect. I really, really enjoyed it, which is why I decided to do something a little special with this. By the time I'm posting this video, I don't know yet whether I will have posted my announcement video, but we're very close to hitting 10K, and when we do, this palette will be part of that giveaway, just so you know. But yeah, I just really fell in love. This I skipped on initially because I wasn't expecting it to be the good Essence quality. Turns out it is the good Essence quality, and it looks very gray heavy in the palette, I feel. But I found that the only true gray we get is this. This black is lovely. These pool pink. This is a taupe. This silver also has like a little bit more interest to it. It's not like a straight up silver. Then we just have some lighter shades with like a light shimmer, this beigey tone, and then this like slightly warmer tone. But it actually works really well with these pinky berries. It was just a really enjoyable palette to play around with, especially for how expensive it is. And I think it's perfect for the winter season because of those cool tones and because it does go light enough for me as well. Another palette that I haven't quite used, but because it's winter in a palette to me, I had to show it to you. However, if you want to hear all of my thoughts that when I've tried it, this palette is again going to show up really quickly because I'm going to be selecting it for the palettes I'm playing with for December and do a review with. And it's my Wycon Glam Eyes Coolest Shades eyeshadow palette. I have found out that Wycon has a website and that they do ship internationally as well. I'm not sure how many countries they ship to, but I think I could get it shipped to the Netherlands. If you're not sure what Wycon is, they are an Italian-based makeup brand, and I found this when I traveled to Florence earlier in the fall time. I went there in October, and I found this, and it's winter in a palette. It's very reflective and sort of like this way. I think you can see it best because the light doesn't like blind you as much, but you have these really nice pastely minty shades with a little bit of peach. We get some blue tones in here, which I love. And then you just have a bunch of really nice foily shimmers. Yeah, I can't wait to play with this. It's got a little bit of taupe in this corner as well. So you have your neutrals, you have your blues, your gray interesting shimmers, and then it goes into these pastels. I can't wait to play with this. I want to put this on my eyes so badly, and I think that this color story is chef's kiss when it comes to the winter time. And I do apologize for the lighting, but it's December, and sometimes the light is it's 2 o'clock. The lighting is fine, but it's coming right into my living room. But we have 3 more palettes to talk about. of course I need to mention this. I could have also mentioned this guy, but I haven't tried it yet, so I don't know, but the new Gal on Jupiter palette, this is the one that I have selected to put in my giveaway as well. The next palette I need to talk to you about is the Smoke and Mirrors by Gloss Gods. This has sadly been discontinued. However, they are currently doing this. I haven't played with this yet. I haven't swatched it. I have no clue whether it's going to be the same formula as the other one. But in case you're curious, Gloss Gods is currently doing a really lovely cool tone color story. Ooh, I still have all the plastic and stuff in here, but just to show it to you really quickly, look at that. I think it's perfect for the winter season for sure. So that's part of their new collection, and they did this one last year. This was their limited edition for Christmas, and I just fell in love. And this is even more perfect because you have those like purpley things with some gray tones and then some neutrals. This was so stunning, and that's why I wanted to try the other one as well. But like I said, that package came in yesterday. I haven't had time to swatch it yet, but yeah, this is just really stunning. Lovely little palette. I really enjoy Gloss Gods formula because they do a really good range of like mattes and shimmers, and they usually have more shimmers in their palettes than mattes, which I love, but you still get enough to really create looks, and their shimmer quality is just amazing. They do a lot of flippy things, not necessarily multi-chromes per se, and they are definitely more of a brand that aims itself at makeup artistry and like the more creative aspect of the makeup industry, but then they also do these really stunning neutral palettes, which just have stolen my heart. I also have two of their effects palettes, but this one I really love and adore, and it's great for the winter time. However, if you missed out on this one, you may want to check out the new one that they have. Just saying. And then I'm surprised that I haven't shown this one as a winter palette, because I think the Lunar Beauty Eternal Eclipse, like this one is so nice for a winter palette. Of course, this brand has now also come out with a new palette that the reason why I don't have that is because I feel it is too similar to what this has to offer. So I'm still on the fence whether I should even buy that. I don't think I'd need to. But it does have blue, greens, and purples, which is what I love. But yeah, this has that blue row especially. That's like winter in a palette. You do get some warmth, but it's mainly in this corner over here. And then you just have some really stunning neutrals. I love this like silvery, taupey sort of goodness. Goes really well with all of these shades here. If I use this palette, I mainly use this like pinky neutral with something like the grays and the blues and that. Like that's the look I go for. I tend to ignore this corner, really. I kind of do. But this is a lovely palette. I really enjoy the quality of it, and I think it's perfect for the winter time. And finally, last but not least, a palette I have yet to use, and I won't be able to use it anytime soon. This is going to be January or February for sure, because I've just come into a lot of palettes in the past 2 to 3 months. So that's why this one is going to take a little while for me to actually get around to it. But it's the Beauty Bay Metamorphic palette. And the minute I spotted this on Instagram, I was like, okay, Beauty Bay hasn't done a color story that interests me in a while. Like, in a while. And me being me and not loving the Beauty Bay formula that I've tried so far, I wasn't sure I was ever going to try them again. And then they did this. It's winter in a palette. It's very Y2K in a palette as well. Like the looks they've created with it, like to promote this palette, is very sort of reminiscent of like 2002. Very much that like sort of like Paris Hilton kind of like that sort of era. Like pre-2005, I feel. It's very much that, but it only has 5 mattes. This one, and this one, this one, and then we get 2 more over here. So those are the mattes. Everything else is shimmer. Some of these shimmers have a flip. It's very gray, taupe, blue, teal, purple, heavy. And it's winter in a palette. Like this to me is winter. It's very sort of icy, snowy, like the gray tones in the air. This is it. And I wish I had the Cosmic Brushes Winter Wonderland palette already in as I sit down to film this video, because that is making its way to me. But I can pop a picture up on the screen here in case you want to know. That looks perfect as well. Like it's named Winter Wonderland, and it's like the more colorful version of this. So Lots of these kind of color stories coming our way as we speak, either making its way to my house or they are being announced or were already announced as being releases, and I'm here for it. Give me all the winter vibes because I'm loving it. I'm loving it. So thank you so very much for joining me here today. I really hoped that this video was helpful. Let me know in a comment down below what your favorite winter color story is. I would love to know. And then we will hopefully see each other soon in a new video. I post 4 times a week on this channel, once a week over on my second channel where I do more lifestyle-y, like different things that don't really go onto this channel, and I just really enjoy making videos, so that's why I also have a presence on that second channel over there. So I would like to join me on there maybe sometime. That would be lovely too. And then yeah, we'll see each other soon. I hope to see you then. Yeah, maybe you can check out the second channel as well. I would greatly appreciate it if you could join me there. But for now, I wish you a great day. Take care, and then I hope to see you in my next video. Bye bye.